did the team's performance last night play into giving Joel a couple more days to rest the eye?
It really didn't. I hear what you're saying, but it's still about what's best for Joel's health. And to have him come back and save the day because we lost game one, that's not going to happen. And the fact that we won game one also doesn't influence it. And it's all the same thing. It's just what is best for Joel's health. And it's been determined that he should not play game two for that reason.
What's the healthy perspective that you want the team to have coming off the way the game ended and then still a series?
Just the adults sort of vision of truly where we're at. We did well last night and we move on. It's the Miami Heat. They have a culture of winning. We all understand how series change, mood swings, lineups, injuries, whatever. And we have a complete respect and appropriate fear of our situation. We're proud of last night, but we are coming into this with humble respect, and we're trying to figure out ways to get better. That is today with a film session and a walkthrough. We think we've identified things that we can improve on. We know we've identified things that we can improve on. And that is completely my mood that is echoed to them, and they're great. They understand that.
What kind of adjustments are you expecting Miami to make?
I don't know. I don't know. I think if anybody just looked at a stat sheet, you could probably, make some accurate guesses.
Brett, you had said, with game one, you were sort of feeling each other out, teams were trying to figure out the pace of play. As the game unfolded, did you feel like the pace and the style started to favor you guys?
In the second half, we started to defend better. And, when you do that, you're obviously now dealing with more missed opportunities. And what do you do than taking the ball out of the net? I think that notion always favors pace. And as I said, everybody wonders, are we still going to be able to pull off what we've been doing without Joel over the past, 17 games that we've had success with? And, we sure hope so. That's who we are. That's what we've tried to do. And I felt, to your point, John, the defense, I think, triggered the pace more than the pace, went to a higher level just because we tried harder. I don't see it like that. I think our defense was the instigator of that.
Coach, when you take a look at what Ben Simmons was able to do last night, obviously his size has been to his advantage all season, but now when you move into a playoff situation where things get even more physical, do you see his size being even that much more of an advantage, that he's a guy who can't be pushed around?
I think you can see that and say that fairly. I think you just sort of see what he is physically, his gifts physically, and I see sort of the mental component combined with the physical component. There's no back down in him. There's no shying away from any of that. He embraces it. And, he takes that 6'10", I think even bigger, it seems, frame, and his physical presence, and he's not afraid to play wrecking ball basketball at times. He has been called for some offensive fouls in early offense, him just going to the rim and leaning into people to create that space. Although it's a foul, I also think it's a mentality that I kind of like. But I think his physical gifts combined with his mental gifts equal, he will embrace a physical game.
Have you seen that mental toughness grow throughout the year, or was that something that he arrived with on day one? And how have you seen that manifest?
I think he's had it from day one. I think he's learned how to use it better in a more sophisticated, thoughtful way as the season's unfolded. But I feel like, sort of you am who you am type stuff, and that's who he is. That's who he is, and he's just learning how to use it and how to polish it up in what situations. But that general sort of DNA quality, I think he had from the get-go.
You've talked before about the importance of having a four-man who can stretch a defense. Dario entered the season shooting 31% from three. Came off the bench, for the first week. How big has he been for what you guys have done this season in the past and moving forward with his ability to knock down shots?
I mean, it seems like the question we get asked the most, isn't it, about Dario? And I give the same answer, and I'm happy to all day, every day. It's the future of our sport. If you don't have a four-man that can't stretch the floor, you're not going to play very long in the playoffs. It's modern-day basketball. Since the day I met him in Istanbul, I told him your future will be your three-point shot. We broke down his shot, all the mechanical side of his shot that you've heard me say repetitively. And what it's now equaled is a reliable three-point shooter and a confident three-point shooter. And, generally that ends up equaling playoff basketball. It doesn't seem to get, the sport doesn't seem to get bigger. It seems to get sort of smaller and small ball and stretching the floor and put as many shooters as you can on the floor. That sure seems the way that high-level basketball playoffs go and grow, and he's that. And so with that, he's very big to what we're doing. That's right. There isn't.
Upon further review, did you come away with any more impressions of the Dario-Ersan pairing and what type of staying power that could have?
Well, I think if you just looked at the start of the third period, we'd all be quite happy with that pairing. And, will we see it again? Yes, we will. How we use it, I'm not, exactly sure, nor would I probably offer it. But I think that it's clear you're going to see that pairing again.
Brett, you talked about having an adult-type mindset for Game 2. Typically when you have a young team, after a win like that, guys could be giddy the day after. How were the guys thus far this morning when you found them?
I think that there's a serious side that contradicts their age. I'm proud of their professionalism and their discipline to detail and their body language, what I saw this morning. And, I think that coming out of a halftime and trying to arrest some of the problems that were going on in the third period was another strong example that the team handles its business, I think, in a mature way that, like I say, sometimes contradicts sort of their age. And we understand that Game 2 is a new day. We understand and respect the history of the Miami Heat. I have tremendous respect for Eric Spoelstra and the legacy that he's continued on from Coach Riley. And we will be getting their A games physically, skill package-wise, and that's what we're expecting.
Brad, I'm sorry if you've answered this in the past. With Joel, do you want to see him get through a practice, 5-on-5 scrimmage, contact before he's cleared?
There's none of that anymore. There's no environment to practice anymore. And so to create something maybe with the low minute guys, if you saw the design of my coaching staff, you're going to see some athletes out there, former players, and that's on purpose. I love having a coaching staff that can act at times as, dummy offense, script guys as well. But to recreate that in real ways isn't going to happen. To do the best that we can to achieve what you're saying, yes, we'd like to do that as much as we can. And that is part of Joel's return to play plan.
As we know he's out now, but as you're preparing for the series and his status is up in the air, how much time do you spend planning for the possibility of him coming back?
Every day. Every day we plan to include him and show him and keep him moving forward so that when we do absorb him, it's not, something that's too erratic. There's some type of smooth transition. And so, the preparation and the planning of him coming back, which is your question, correct? We do it every day. We do it every day with him. He's part of everything that we do, and to slowly integrate him back in as the health permits is always on our mind, and in some level, some dose is achieved most days.
Dario,
Get back to a previous question. follow up on. Where have you, as a coach, improved on managing your team's psychology? There's the X's and O's, and then there's the keeping it fun half the time, going serious the others. So what have you learned with coaching this group?
I don't know how to answer your question. I don't know. You know, like, I feel that we do a decent job as a staff of really trying to hit the holistic parts of a program. And there's physical, there's mental, there's culture, there's teammate, there's strength and conditioning. I think we do a pretty good job of ticking boxes and keeping it very real, very candid. In regards to what I have improved at, I don't know.
Dario said that he cited Ersan kind of taking him under his wing when Ersan was here last year. Can you recall anything of how that relationship kind of developed?
That Dario took Ersan under his wing?
Reverse, I'm sorry.
Ersan
took Dario under his wing. So can you recall anything of how that relationship started to grow and how it was nurtured and the effect that it kind of had on the two of them?
I feel because of my personal background with FIBA and international basketball, I spent 17 years coaching overseas and, you know, did the Olympic stuff and world championship stuff, that I see the foreign guys differently. I really have a fondness and an appreciation for our foreign guys. And if you knew what Dario Saric really thinks of Ersan Ilyasova as it relates to him playing for Turkey, there is a healthy respect. You know, if you went to Manu Ginobili and asked him about, you know, Tony Parker, he would think Argentina, France. You know, Dario's thinking Croatia, Turkey. And I see it with Italy now, with Bellinelli. And so Dario would be looking at Ersan. He has got tremendous respect and fame in Europe, and Dario would be looking at him in a way that is mirrors that. It's one of respect because of Ersan's history. I see it with Dario, with Marco Bellinelli. He commands respect. You know, Croatia had to beat Italy to qualify for Rio. And so the Ersan Ilyasova, you know, kind of nurturing Dario and, you know, helping him along is true. But it's different than an American trying to do the same thing with Dario. I think it's even a little bit deeper because of the history that Dario recognizes Ersan has internationally. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Coach.